what are some of those, people that are maybe laid off or people that are working another job? What are those skills that you see in your students that
Mhm.
say this person's going to be very successful in IT?
That's
And maybe that's a really broad, because there's a lot of broad,
mhm.
uh, areas to go between QA and developer and all those things. But what are those things you look for as a hint to success?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's kind of the million-dollar question, honestly. How can you tell if someone's going to be a good programmer? Let's start there. So there are two camps on this, actually. The camp of everybody can program and everybody should program, and no, only certain people have the gift of programming, and only those people should do it. So yeah, there's so much you could say on this. Got to keep it kind of short, but basically, when I'm looking at someone, if I was to judge whether or not I think that they'll succeed as a programmer, I think they need about three qualities. And one of them is they need to be able to look at a problem and figure out a solution without having to find an answer from someone else. So by that, if you see a problem, you can envision what is the solution to this. Okay, let's think of it like traffic. I see a problem. There's traffic. How could we make the traffic better? Have you thought about rerouting specific parts of traffic, or have you thought about limiting the number of cars that could pass through a stoplight per day somehow? It doesn't have to be a feasible thing. It's just the fact that you could actually envision solutions in your head or think of them, right? Or even write it on paper. So looking at problems and then being able to actually think about solutions. And I'm not necessarily even saying coming to good solutions. I'm just saying thinking about solutions and being able to articulate them. Second thing, and this is going to make a lot of people really upset. But you remember how you always said to your algebra teacher, when am I ever going to need this? Well, if you're going to be a computer programmer, you need algebra. You don't have to know the advanced calculus for most jobs, okay? But you need algebra. And the reason you need algebra is because algebra is all about variable replacement. It's equations and rearranging equations and solving for variables. And that's programming. We take x is equal to 2 plus 5, x is equal to 7. Okay, now I can use that 7 and do this thing with it over here, right? That's programming. It's algebra, a little bit of matrix theory, which if you go into that, that's a little bit harder. But it's kind of like the next step up after algebra. But you can do great things with calculus too. I'm not saying that someone who's great at calculus wouldn't be a great programmer. I'm not saying that at all. It's completely not transitive that way. I'm talking about someone just wanting to know, should I even try it? Well, if you hated algebra, if you hated writing equations and you hated solving for variables, programming might not be your favorite thing in the whole world.